Yokoso Minasan, it's Koru here, Shogun of Shinchoku, and today I am joined by my friend KTK15 to react to History Matters. He's going to be reacting for the first time, isn't that right?
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see about this. So hello, hopefully he has 28 subscribers, I have 29, so we're pretty even, I would say, and just one more, but yeah, still, hopefully we can both benefit from this video. I'm just doing a little bit of a collab. Hopefully we'll be able to collab a little bit more in the future. So anyways, let's get to the content.
Get back.
Okay, ready? Let's see.
Yes.
Prussia, as you'll be aware, is huge, growing from a medium-sized state in the mid-16th century
Can you hear it okay?
Yes.
to this in the mid-1700s.
Okay.
Most of these lands are in what's called Siberia, which were difficult to govern
They don't care. Yep, they don't care.
due to their sheer size and place Russia in contact with more potential rivals.
Persian?
As such, this raises the question, why did Russia conquer Siberia? What did it have to gain from doing so?
Size.
Well, it won't surprise you to know that the primary reason was money. As of the reign of Ivan the Terrible,
Yeah, definitely terrible.
Moscow's lifeblood was trade, often in furs. These were sourced from the neighbouring lands and states, which often came into conflict with Moscow. In 1552, Ivan conquered the Khanate of Kazan and soon afterwards the Astrakhan Khanate. These conquests were both primarily to give Moscow control of the Volga River and thus the region's trade routes. So, with the
Yeah, just standing on a podium saying, I saved you. I'm not sure about that, but okay.
economic lifeblood of Moscow
No, he
secured,
saved them,
along
bro.
with
What
some
did you want
new fancy
about?
farmland and
Okay.
peasants there to tax, why did Ivan and his successors
I want
push
to be
for
him
more?
when I
Well,
grow
Ivan
up.
sent a man called Yermak Timofeyevich to
That is a... What kind of name, Russian name is that? That's... Yermak Timofeyevich? What? I
Fucking glad his name isn't some basic shit like Solovetsky.
I don't know why. It's definitely not basic, even for Russian.
man called Yermak Timofeyevich.
No, that's
to
not
lead an
basic
army
at all,
of
bro. What the
Cossacks to pacify
fuck?
the
Yep.
neighbouring states. And he did this for two reasons. The first was to prevent raiding into Moscow's territories, and the second was to extract tribute in the form of furs, which
For now. I'm recording. But, yeah, for now. Yep.
would then be sold on to Europe.
Furs or freeze?
After the Russians conquered Siberia, from which Siberia gets its name, there
That's really where it comes from? Okay, just random place they conquered, that's where Siberia comes from, the name? Okay.
was little in the way of organised
Siberia's yours, yeah, basically.
resistance left, which as a result meant that it only took 60 years for Moscow to conquer all of this. And it made its way there because frankly, nobody could stop.
In real estate.
It's free real estate.
It's for real
After the
estate.
Tsars of Russia, expansion only had
I
up
remember seeing that shit
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
yeah, I know. Flowers through the field.
sides. Siberia was cheap to govern because it basically wasn't governed.
Yeah, Russian laws totally apply here. Even though it's just empty wasteland.
Russia planted trading posts and small fortresses along the frontier, which existed to protect roads and river crossings from raiders. As for
Most of it's full of
people who lived
nuclear
in Siberia, many had
nuclear
little
plants
idea
now done. That's how I know I told them to invade it, but yeah.
that they now lived in a place called Russia. In fact, in much of Siberia's north, Russian influence was basically non-existent, and some parts of it wouldn't be fully mapped until the Soviet Union carried out its censuses. It's just that the Russians claimed it, and the people who made the maps weren't exactly...
Sounds fair, or I guess also it could be said, or I guess they're saying it in the same context of, seems legit, yeah, seems legit.
Totally.
I mean, it's useless tundra anyway, so I don't know why you're claiming it, but sure, we'll just map it as yours.
going to argue with them. Eventually, the Russians would run into a major power which wanted to expand into the region, the Qing dynasty.
God damn.
Gongino intensifies.
When they first came into contact, the Qing
God,
were quick to
no.
shoot at the Russians until they left. Local leaders continued fighting until leadership in Moscow formally sued for peace. It was agreed that in return for some limited trade access, Russia would renounce any claim to these lands and acknowledge Qing ownership. After both sides had agreed, it wasn't long before the Russians took everything to the north.
Some shit
Again, this
going
was
on
because
outside this
nothing was stopping
goddamn
them, and it's
room.
not like it cost the government much to do so.
Just bring a flag, yep. That's all it costs. Just bring a flag to identify it's your land. That's about it.
Yep.
Also, Russia was now about
You
to
don't want anyone
recognize
touching your girlfriend? Just put a flag on her. Easy fix.
Oh god.
charges that had been a century prior, and its sheer size and by extension prestige was one of the reasons that European leaders acknowledged Russian Tsars becoming Russian emperors. When China would later find itself on the receiving end of European imperial policy, Russia was quick to capitalise, and it took the lands it had previously been denied, meaning that the country would stretch all the way from the Baltic Sea in the west to the Sea of Japan in the east. I hope you enjoyed this.
So what'd you think of that video? What?
I'm having a stroke. Shut up.
Okay, let's try this one now.
When you win a war, any previous territorial losses are often swiftly returned to you. Yet, whilst Prussia had been on the winning side of the Napoleonic Wars, when France had been defeated and occupied, Prussia's previous loss of this territory in 1807 was never rectified.
Wow, Jesus.
And in
I
fact,
did not know Prussia owned that much land to the east before, but yeah.
in fact, it was handed over to Russia, which raises the question, why? Why did Prussia lose this land even after it was victorious? So, to begin, during Napoleon's adventures across Europe, numerous coalitions formed to oppose him.
Lots of color changes right there.
One of these coalitions was the Fourth Coalition, which was comprised of these nations trying to prevent France from creating a new European order. The coalition didn't fare too well, and shortly after Napoleon had occupied Berlin, the Prussians sued for peace. In the peace treaty, it was dictated that Prussia would lose all of these lands, with this large chunk here becoming the Duchy of Warsaw, the first independent Polish state since Prussia, Russia and Austria carved up Poland-Lithuania at the end of the previous...
Oh yeah, you're definitely screwed. This guy's definitely screwed with Prussia.
Oh
Austria,
shit, he
Russia.
dead.
Yep. Look at this. Just this. Oh god, yeah.
century. 7 years later, Napoleon was defeated. Then
Wait, what? Freedom is for winners. Yeah, that's what it said. Freedom is for winners. It sounds about right.
Napoleon was defeated. Then again a year later, and France was occupied and in no position
Wait,
to
what? Lots of...
position to dictate its own
Yeah,
rulers, let
hello.
alone those of Prussia. So why was it then that after the dust had settled, a chunk of Russia's Polish territories were a part of the Russian Empire and had not been returned? Whilst Prussia did lose a lot of its Polish territory, it did keep most of what it had gained in the first two partitions. However, there were two main reasons that this land was lost to Prussia forever. The first reason was the most obvious: Sweden. You see, after Prussia's losses
Hinga-dinga-durg in Sweden.
in 1807, its place in the coalition was diminished, and thus it didn't command the same level of respect that it once had. Both Prussia and Sweden had eyes on territory in the German-speaking parts of Europe, and if Prussia spent too much political goodwill trying to regain Poland, then that would leave Sweden with a greater
Hello, fellow Germans.
foothold in the area.
Oh no,
The
not
second
more
reason was
Germans.
that Russia was occupying the lands. When pushing Napoleon back to Paris, the Russians had conquered the Duchy of Warsaw and had placed it under military administration. Prussia wasn't exactly excited at the prospect of fighting another major war that it would likely lose, and so there really wasn't much that they could do. That's not to say that the Russians weren't going to compensate Prussia for the loss.
Yep.
Emperor
Let's make
Alexander
a
I
deal.
knew that Prussia had a claim to the land, and so in return for handing Warsaw and the Polish heartlands over to Russia,
This
it would
mine
support
just fucking
Prussia's
takes it.
expansion westward, which worked well for both sides. For Prussia, it meant that it would lose a great chunk of its Catholic Polish-speaking population and could
Hey,
replace them with the
hey,
richer
they took
German-speaking
it like how my
Protestant
girlfriend took me.
population.
Oh
It
god.
would also increase
Yeah, and they would Protestants and Catholics, just a tale as old as Christianity itself. just Protestants and Catholics fighting each other constantly.
Russia's influence in the new German
Basic shit.
Confederation at the expense of Austria, which was a fun.
Just simply like, you suck now. That's just simply like that sign though. That's pretty cool.
Bonus for them.
Nicest-
And for
nicest
Russia,
way to say
gaining
it, bro.
Poland was important because Alexander believed that some of Napoleon's
Poles exist. Not always independent, but they exist. You know? Just a shocked, surprised face.
I mean, they ain't standing. They ain't poles.
liberal ideals were here to stay, and so it was better to paint himself as Poland's liberator and protector than to risk Prussia getting it wrong and Poland breaking free. This wouldn't last for long because after Poland revolted in 1831, its status as an independent state was abolished and it was formally incorporated into the Russian Empire as a territory. And with that, Prussia lost control of Poland, and its successor state Germany would only briefly regain it during the First World War. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and a special thanks.
So what did you think of that video? KTK, what did you think of that?
I don't know. My brain is not really functioning right now, so I can't really think.
Oh, well, okay. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. I don't know, but let's.
My girlfriend stole my brain.
Oh, good.
Send help.
Oh, good.
Send help.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And I'll make sure to like, subscribe, vote on the polls, and join the Minecraft server if you can. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope we can have some more collabs. Sayonara. Just,
Adios, muchachos.